Now, Deputy Chair, this hearing that took place with the committee on the 23rd of March 2022 was so revealing that more than 8,000 Western Australians decided to put their signature to this e-petition. What was the e-petition asking for? Just asking the government to adhere to its own standard of gold standard transparency and just provide the health advice that you're relying on. Just provide the health advice that you say justifies the state of emergency and the public health state of emergency. And while you're at it, provide the modelling, the health modelling that you've indicated that you've also been considering. Well, very interesting, Deputy Chair, that recently, despite the fact that this hearing took place on the 23rd of March this year, only recently did the replacement Health Minister, the Honourable Amber Jade Sanderson, deem it necessary to respond on this matter. And of course, this response was then sent to the other committee, very capably chaired by the Honourable Peter Foster, and his hard-working committee, the Standing Committee on Environment and Public Affairs. And this is what the replacement Health Minister has to say. Dear Peter, thank you for your letter dated the 27th of September 2022 regarding petition number 49, State of Emergency Declarations, which was tabled by the Hon Nick Goiran MLC on the 10th of May 2022. The state government's management of the COVID-19 global pandemic continues to be world-class. It is disappointing to receive a petition from members of the community and tabled by a members of parliament. There's no error there, Hansard, that's what the replacement Health Minister has had to say, and tabled by a members of parliament that seek to undermine the government's efforts to keep Western Australians safe. I will not be providing further comments on this petition, but thank the committee for the opportunity to do so. Kind regards, Honourable Amber Jade Sanderson. Such is the contempt of the replacement Health Minister that 8,000 Western Australians might simply ask. You said, your government, the member for Rockingham said, gold standard transparency is what we will adhere to. Please provide us with this health advice that you say justifies. And the replacement Health Minister says, talk to the hand, under no circumstances will I do that. In fact, it's disappointing that 8,000 Western Australians should have the hide to ask my arrogant government, the McGowan government, to have to provide this information. Who do these Western Australians think they are? They're only the taxpayers after all, the residents of Western Australia, the voters of Western Australia, under our system of responsible government, presumably thinking that it might be okay for them to ask a few questions, and indeed for their representatives in the chamber to ask a few questions. But not on your life, not with this replacement Health Minister. This is the attitude that comes out of these things, Deputy Chair. It is absolutely appalling. And then the government has the gall this morning, the Premier and his unreliable, confused and confusing Attorney-General to come out and produce this press release basically boasting about the level of transparency that the McGowan government is adhering to. Give me a break. It is very, very clear from this particular example on the 23rd of March 2022 that there is nothing along the lines of a gold standard transparency being adhered to by this particular government. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's gross secrecy. And even when more than 8,000 Western Australians decide to put their signature next to a petition and ask for this information, and a hard-working committee of the parliament, I mean, it's one thing, Deputy Chair, for the replacement Health Minister to have an arrogant and contemptuous attitude towards the opposition, but this is to a parliamentary committee. A parliamentary committee asks, please explain, and this is the type of response that we get. So we've actually had two parliamentary committees try to inquire into this and to break open the safe of secrecy that is the McGowan government, and particularly with regard to this health advice, unsuccessfully. First of all, we had the committee chaired by the Honourable Peter Collier, the Estimates Committee, try on the 23rd of March 2022, unsuccessful. Then we've got the Honourable Peter Foster's committee trying, chaired by a Labor Member of Parliament, and still there is this contempt and arrogance by the replacement Health Minister. What is it going to take, Deputy Chair, for the McGowan government to truly adhere to a gold standard of transparency? That is the question.